The following is a recording of a live questions and answers session with Chris McCann that took place on Friday, August 19th, 2016.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a pre-recorded eBible Fellowship's Questions and Answers time. This program is designed to interact with you with your questions and comments related to the Bible, and we'll try to respond as well as possible by going to the Bible. And so, with our Bibles at the ready, it's now time to turn things over to our speaker for this pre-recorded questions and answers time, and say hello to Chris McCann.
Good evening and welcome to eBible Fellowship's Friday night question and answer program. Tonight we're going to take a look at the Bible with any questions or comments that anyone may have. And each person is invited to share what's ever on your mind by contacting us in one of the ways that were mentioned at the beginning of the program, and we'll be glad to take your call. And I'll try to respond as much as possible by going to the Bible, as the Bible is God's holy word, and it is there that we find truth. Well, to begin with tonight, I'd like to take a couple of questions that we've received through Pal Talk lately. The first question is, the person writes, I have a friend who's been living in an adulterous marriage for many years. She divorced and remarried when her former husband was still living, but he is now near death from Alzheimer's disease. Should he die, would my friend's remarriage now be under God's blessing? Well, we do know that according to the Bible, when two people get married, a male and a female, that God has joined them together, and the law of God, the Bible, and the Bible is the supreme law. We should not be fooled or deceived into thinking that any law that men make gets anywhere near the level of the Bible. It does not. We have some courts, and they call themselves the Supreme Court. Well, that may be true insofar as the law of man goes. Yes, this is the last court, the Supreme Court that has the final say concerning laws that men make. But truly, the supreme law is the law of the Bible. It is unmatched, unparalleled, and never is it true that a law that men make, or that men disannul, or that men say is no longer a law, never is it true that that decision made by judges and courts of men has any impact upon the supreme law of God. And so in our time, we're living when men make laws and they say it's legal to abort a baby, to murder a baby. And the law of God has not changed on that point. Thou shalt not kill. So, what does that mean? When doctors perform the procedure, nurses assist, all kinds of people work at those facilities, individuals go in to have the procedure performed. What does it mean? It means they are going against the law of God. Even though, according to the law of the land, all is fine and legal. Not according to the law of God. That's how it is with abortion. That's how it is with gay marriage. The law of the land, the law of the whole world can say, now it's good and proper and a right thing for two men to get married or two women to get married and to be joined together in marriage. Yet not according to the supreme law, the law of God. There's been no change there, and mankind's fads and periods of change, and man is very susceptible to change. He changes like the wind, has nothing to do with God's supreme law. And not only does God speak about marriage between a man and a woman, but he also says once a man and a woman enter into marriage, they are married until death. Well, yeah, but there's laws in Pennsylvania, and there's laws in New York, and there's laws in the United States and every country that say you can divorce. Again, laws of men have no impact upon the supreme law of God. The supreme law of God says what God has joined together, let not man put asunder. And many people are deceived, but they're willingly deceived. They want it to be this way, is often the case. They're deceived by the government, the state, by their fellow people, and they think that now they're single and now they're free to marry again. And that's how it's portrayed in the news, on television, in society. That is how it is. But it's not how it is with, again, the supreme law of God. When two people get a divorce, a legal divorce of a land, of a government, that divorce means nothing to the marriage that God joined together. The divorce did not separate, it did not put asunder the marriage that God blessed that union, and that the law of God dictates will continue until death. The laws of men have no force, no power to change the supreme law of God. So in God's sight, when two people divorce and one remarries, all legal according to the government that they're under, the earthly government, well, once they remarry, they have entered into an adulterous relationship with their second spouse. Because, although legal by earthly government, what they have done is illegal according to the supreme law of God. In God's sight, they're still married to the original person, and now they have entered into an adulterous relationship. Although, if they marry that second person, God recognizes the second marriage as a legitimate marriage. But there is a situation or a condition of sin because the first marriage is still intact. So that's, of course, the problem, the difficulty that sin causes. Sin always makes a mess of things. And so people have complicated the marriage situation in that area, and there's sin involved with the person who is now married to a second individual, yet still married to the first. And so your question is, now, if the first husband dies, does that change anything concerning her second marriage? And the thing that it changes is that there was an ongoing marriage to the first husband, because marriage is until death, but upon his death, now the Bible indicates when two people are married and one dies, then the living spouse is free to marry in the Lord for a child of God. They're free to marry another. And so the change would be that there is no longer an ongoing sinful condition or situation because the second marriage involved adultery of the first marriage. So yes, that would change. There would be no longer any active, ongoing adultery in the second marriage.
And thank you for joining us again for eBible Fellowship's Questions and Answers time with your speaker, Chris McCann. You can join us for these questions and answers sessions Sunday afternoons following the Sunday studies and certain weeknights following the Monday through Friday studies. Check eBibleFellowship.com for the current schedule. Until next time, may the Lord's perfect will be done.